Have you ever noticed how some people seem to possess an almost supernatural command of their surroundings, navigating social complexities with uncanny grace, without uttering a single commanding word? They don't shout, they don't beg, they simply withdraw, subtly yet undeniably, and the energy shifts. People wonder, chase, and feel the absence. What if you did the same? Stopped reacting automatically? Chose silence over impulsive responses? Opted for strategic retreat instead of explosions? What would happen? That's the point. When you cease being perpetually available, emotionally, physically, psychologically, the world as they know it goes into crisis. People are used to controlling you through predictable reactions, knee-jerk impulses. The day you withdraw, the game changes. Those who thought they knew you realize they know nothing of substance about the true you. Carl Jung wisely stated, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves." Reflect. When you become inaccessible, who becomes desperate? Who gets irritated? Who tries to provoke you? This reveals more about them than you, and how much you're still manipulated. You give too much to please, to keep peace, avoiding losing those never truly present. Every forced yes, every immediate response, every emotional reaction surrenders your energy. The result? Exhaustion, frustration, a void. Why? Because you're too available to those undeserving of your silence. This isn't about retreating from the world, but choosing yourself. It's learning what Jung called individuation, becoming whole, authentic. This begins understanding silence can be more powerful than arguments, and retreat, from consciousness not fear, is an act of power. So, how long will you be controlled by others' emotions? How long will you react like a puppet when your wounds are touched? Maybe it's time to cut strings, withdraw, become a mystery. When you stop being available, everything changes. Since childhood, you were taught to be present, quick to respond, to please, to say yes, even when wanting no. Your worth was linked to availability. But here's the truth. Excessive availability isn't a virtue, it's a prison. As long as you believe you must be accessible, you'll be manipulated, drained, forgotten when no longer useful. Why? Because being always available makes you predictable, and predictability makes you a tool. People use you as an emotional emergency button, then put you back on the shelf. You're trapped in the illusion that availability guarantees reciprocity. It doesn't. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear for acceptance. This mask makes you excessively available. You say, "Everything's fine," while suffocating. You respond immediately, even exhausted. You explain, justify, defend as if you owe the world. But the more you're on other stages, the more you disappear from your own. Being available is subtle self-abandonment, seeking approval, avoiding rejection, controlling your image. The price? Your peace, your vital energy, spent as if infinite, but it's limited. Those wanting you always available don't want you, but what you offer. Validation, company, distraction, comfort. When you change, set limits, stop reacting, they get irritated. It's not you, but that you've stopped being functional for them. The more available you are, the less value you have. What's abundant becomes an emotional rag. No one respects what they don't conquer, values what's always there. Pause. Who deserves your time, attention, presence, silence? Before answering, understand. Why do we react so much? Why give in so easily? What's behind pleasing, justifying, responding? The answer lies in what Jung called psychic energy. Your energy is all you have. Protect it, or someone will use it against you. Ever think about others' projections and how deeply they bother you? We're entering the territory of silent manipulation. We'll explore how opportunistic people feed on your energy and how your unavailability disarms them. Prepare to confront those who've drained you unnoticed. You think you're in control, reactions are conscious choices. But most emotional responses are programmed, easily manipulated. Opportunists don't need threats, they touch your exposed buttons, and you react. Jung called this projection, displacing their inner conflicts onto you. But you also become the receptacle, a blank canvas for their projections. That friend who only calls in crisis, that partner needing you to save the day. They aren't relating to you, but their idea of you, the role you accepted. Why accept? Because of fear. Fear of disappointing, of not being loved, of abandonment. The most effective manipulation happens in the silence of guilt. Feeling you owe something, needing to be available even if it destroys you. The manipulator doesn't need to control you, just maintain your reactions. But when you stop reacting, the game breaks. When you say no, respond with silence, withdraw without explanation, projections crumble, the mask falls off. This makes people deeply uncomfortable. They don't know who you are anymore, and they're forced to look at themselves. Your unavailability is a threat, forcing others to confront their emptiness. Your silence reveals the internal noise they avoid. Then comes attack, criticism, drama. Not because you're wrong, but because you've stopped serving as a convenient mirror. Jung said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you withdraw, stop feeding the cycle, the other's shadow emerges, unbearable for those using you as an escape. Are you ready to endure being misunderstood, rejected, attacked for protecting yourself? Prepared to face the silence after the rupture? It's in this silence that a new power is born. We'll discuss how silence can be devastating, changing the dynamic between you and the world. The power of conscious silence. We live in a noisy world. Everyone wants to be heard, win arguments, even at the cost of peace. But few know the power of silence. Not passive, cowardly silence, but conscious, strategic, lucid silence. Silence not as absence, but amplified presence. Jung saw silence as fertile ground for inner transformation. Stop reacting, and you begin to observe. Observing, you see patterns, manipulation, self-sabotage, emotional repetitions. Silence allows lucidity, dangerous for those controlling you. Notice how people panic when you don't respond? It's not longing, it's loss of control. Speaking keeps you in the game. Silence changes the rules, unbalancing those feeding on your reaction. True, silence isn't absence of voice, it's mastery over your energy. It's refusing to be dragged into others' chaos, consciously choosing not to enter draining battles. Jung taught individuation requires this withdrawal. Only in silence can you hear yourself without the world. Silence has a price. It will alienate those valuing your role, make you seem incomprehensible, cold, distant, arrogant. These are reactions of those never wanting your depth, just your usefulness. The more you mature, the more selective you become with words, seeing each phrase as energy. Not all deserve your truth. Sometimes silence isn't escape, it's sovereignty, the language of those needing to prove nothing. Silence is uncomfortable, forcing others to deal with their thoughts, their internal noise. This reveals more than any argument. You don't need to justify your absence, it justifies itself. Those threatened reveal how dependent they were on your imbalance for their own. The silence that rebuilds. The most powerful silence isn't disturbing others, but rebuilding you, reconnecting you with something beyond approval, returning your vital energy, your essence. In this internal space, free of demands, you recover your true strength. There's a silent narrative where you're the understanding, accessible, helpful one. Jung understood individuation requires isolation, not depressive but sacred, a time of inner recollection where you relearn to hear yourself without the world, reconstruct your identity not based on others' gaze, but from your center. Want a good measure of your evolution? Observe who distances themselves when you become more reserved, who provokes you when you stop reacting, who accuses you of changing when you start protecting yourself. These aren't signs you're wrong, but that you've begun to break free. Being unavailable is uncomfortable at first. You'll feel guilty, selfish, here you're cold, distant, hard. This is part of deconstruction. You've spent your life being conditioned to put yourself second. Change will cause discomfort in you and those benefiting from your former version. Conscious unavailability is the foundation of self-determination. Saying no to the world is saying yes to yourself. Distancing from toxic environments reaffirms your peace is worth more than false connection. Stopping explaining yourself, you begin to be respected, even if by few. Not all are ready for this presence. Your emotional absence will expose others' wounds, reveal how they depended on your chaos to feel in control. That's when the rupture comes. With rupture comes pain, loneliness, distance, loss. But you're not losing. You're freeing yourself. What happens after silence? When you stop being available to everyone, something profound happens. First, silence, uncomfortable, seeming to scream inside you. You ask, did I do the right thing? Am I being too hard? Am I losing people who liked me? But little by little, this silence transforms, cleanses, calms, heals. Then comes loneliness, not absence, but total presence, your own. The loneliness of the strong, those not betraying themselves to keep others near. In this space where there was confusion, clarity enters. Where there was anxiety, peace. Where there was neediness, a new strength is born, the strength of being whole within yourself. Jung said individuation requires distancing from the collective, disidentifying from the mask, walking alone for a time. You're not fleeing the world, you're returning to yourself from reactor to creator. At this point, you stop being molded and start molding your reality. People uncomfortable with your absence reveal they never wanted you, but the role you played. Now that you don't fit, they don't know what to do, and that's liberating. You'll lose people, but find yourself. You'll distance from places, but reconnect with your essence. You'll be misunderstood, but finally respected. Because when you're no longer available for anything, you become rare, valuable, unforgettable. This is a rebirth, make no mistake. The beginning of a life where you don't accept emotional crumbs, where mental games have no space, where voids disguised as affection don't trap you. Now you only accept what resonates with your peace, your truth, your wholeness. And if you've come this far, it's because part of you is ready. It understands being loved isn't worth abandoning yourself. And that true self-love begins choosing yourself, even if it means loneliness for a time. Are you ready to be misunderstood, rejected, or hated in the name of your inner freedom? Are you willing to pay the price of being who you are? If this touched you, if it made sense, write, I choose my peace. Let's see how many are ready for this transition.